October 14, 2024. Give us your full name, please.
Arnulfo Hernandez Cruz.
What is your jersey number and what position do you play?
My jersey number is 89, and I play right tackle and lefty end.
What motivates you to be part of this team?
Mostly my family.
What's your favorite subject in school?
My favorite subject in school is band.
Someone that you want to recognize that's been there for you during your tough times.
That would probably be my mom.
What's her name?
Kenya.
Last name?
Kenya Cruz.
Okay. Who would you like to see in the stands senior night this coming Saturday, cheering you on?
Probably my mom and my whole family.
Thank you. October 14, 2024. Please give us your full name.
My name is Anthony Frias.
What has inspired you to become a coach for the Falcons here in Firebaugh, California?
So I've been a long-time resident here in Firebaugh. I played Pop Warner football all the way up into high school football here, and I've always been intrigued to try to give back on whatever knowledge and wisdom I can provide. You know, football is not only about just the sport itself, but there's a lot of growth and camaraderie from within football that you could develop, right? And it starts here on the field, developing relationships with your peers, fellow teammates, and your coaches. And some of those relationships could go lifelonging. So within all that too, within coaching is just everything that it takes to get to the mountaintop, right? And not only as far as wins, but kind of recognizing and identifying yourself, kind of discovering. So a lot of obstacles for sure within this realm. Discipline, perseverance, things like that.
How do you prepare? How does a sport like football or any sport, soccer, volleyball, prepares youth and these youngsters for life? What's the most important lesson about life that a sport can teach our kids?
Definitely perseverance. I'm big on perseverance and habit. That's something that was instilled to me growing up in Pop Warner High School. Just habits. You know, if we develop good habits, we stay on that track into where it's second nature. We don't second guess ourselves when it comes to habit. What we do what we do in the dark, kind of comes to light. So we got to develop that pattern of doing the right thing. Doing the right thing when no one's around. That's a big building block of that. And perseverance, right? These kids, they're teenagers, still, learning themselves and things like that. So when it comes to perseverance, there's setbacks, and usually when these setbacks happens for the first time. But I want them to be aware and understand that we've all gone through it. Myself as a only child growing up as a teenager, I really had no one to go to, right? But this field, these group of my teammates is who I reached out to. I learned from every single one of these guys, my coaches, my teammates, and that helped me as an only child teenager. So perseverance, so kind of just recognize you're not the only one going through it, right? You just got that peer support.
Coaching requires a lot of sacrifice. Who would you like to acknowledge that's been there supporting you as you go into this venture of influence youngsters going in the right direction? Obviously, we as adults also need support. Who would you like to acknowledge or recognize at this time?
It's really hard to pinpoint one single coach through my upbringing, right? It's just me becoming a leader, and I guess a shoulder to cry on for these kids. I remember me trying to find that person to rely on and kind of vent to and learn from, and I give all of my growth to a multitude of guys, anywhere from Coach Mag, Coach Brandon Moody, Coach Chuck Nord, Coach Gary Berrigan, positional coaches Oscar Velasquez, Paul Demers, Mike Martinez. It's a very long list of people that have helped me develop me who I am as a man, as a person, and now here I am as a coach. So a lot of credit to those guys helping me within this community.
Reporting from Firebaugh, California. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
October 14, 2024. We're in Firebaugh, California, and the Eagle Field here. Please give us your full name, please.
Yes, sir. Jason Guerra.
And how long you have been coaching?
This is actually my first year. Yep.
What would you tell community members that'll be seeing this video or different folks from different communities What's one of the most rewarding things about coaching?
Oh man, just like that's a hard one.
Yeah, well, we'll come back to it.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, what motivates you to volunteer your time to come and become a coach?
Well, I just wanted to give back to the community, and I know like one of my coaches, he called me up and he knew I wanted to coach so bad, and he kind of gave me the opportunity, Coach Frank, and so I really appreciate him bringing me out here, So, yeah, I'm just glad to be out here helping out the younger generation of Falcons or Firebaugh Eagles I met. So, yeah.
Well, sports keeps kids away from bad habits and from actually prevents them from forming when they're part of a family. What do you see as the sport? What role does the sport play in guiding these kids to become good citizens of this community?
So it just like for one, it just like it keeps them away from like all like the the streets and stuff like that. Keeps them away all from like kind of like the bad stuff. I'm not gonna go into too much detail, but yeah, it keeps them away from that. And then it just gives them like when they're out here, we just give them life lessons, about the real world and stuff like that. So that's what we praise. We keep like installing into these guys' heads, and so that's it.
Yes. Let me ask you, being a coach requires a lot of sacrifice too.
Oh yeah.
Time away from family. But who would you like to recognize to supporting you in this venture and that's been there for you?
Oh, definitely my dad. He's been funny story. He's more of a baseball guy, and he's and I'm more of a football guy. And but he's always supported me. Even though I like football better, he's always been there. And he pushes me. Especially when I was in high school too, playing football and all that kind of stuff. He's been there every single game, and yeah, I just really appreciate him. For him being there for me.
Well, let me ask you. You guys have Senior Day coming this Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
How do you prepare the athletes or the players?
Just one, being in school, making sure they're in the classroom, sitting in the front row, and just making sure they go home. Tell their parents, you love them and stuff like that. Give them a hug, because you just never know. Just that kind of stuff. I just like to tell them.
Well, thank you for this interview.
Yeah, sure, no problem.
We're in Firebaugh, California, October 14, 2024. Please give us your full name.
Jonathan Holguin.
Let me ask you, what has inspired you to become a coach?
Me, I love coaching. I love football, but my biggest thing is just I have a heart for kids. I love being there for kids. When I was growing up, I didn't have my dad most of my life, so I like to be there for the kids. Sometimes I don't have dad, stuff like that. So I just like being a father figure for some of them, leading them, and just trying to help them do the right thing.
How important are sports in the lives of our kids and the youth?
Sports is very important for some of these kids. Some of these kids, like I said, they don't have parents at home. They like to go to the streets and stuff. And sometimes sports just helps them keep them away from that, lead them down the right path. And I just think it's real big for kids, because you want kids to go down the right path nowadays, not the way that they're going to regret later on in life.
What's one of the most important life lessons a sport teaches kids?
One of the biggest lessons I would say is never quit and never take anything easy. Always challenge yourself, and just to teaching these kids that nothing in life's easy, but if you never give up, you could succeed in anything you want in your life.
Someone that you want to recognize or acknowledge that's been a positive influence in your life?
I would say Coach Frank. I've been with him for 10 years, and I've been some down parts in my life, but Coach Frank's always there to pick me up and keep me going, and real inspirational, and never gave up on me, and gave me a lot of chances with this program, and I'm always thankful for that.
If a community member sees this video and they're thinking about coaching, what advice would you give them?
I would say do it, man. Do it for the kids. Be out here. It's fun. You get a good experience. You build lifelong relationship with these kids. Like I said, I've been doing it for 10 years. I see kids that call me coach all around. It's a fun experience, and you make lifelong friends, and you get to change kids' life in a positive way.
Very rewarding. Do you give me permission to make this interview public?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. October 14, 2024, we're in Firebaugh, California. Please give us your full name.
Coach Frank Garcia, head coach of the senior Falcons.
How long have you been coaching?
Going on 18 years. As a head coach, I got 12. With the program, coordinating the program, we're about 14 years.
Wow, that's really something. Let me ask you, I know that sports teaches a lot of life lessons, but what's the life lesson that you feel it's a must and very important for our kids nowadays?
One of the biggest things that I feel myself that the kids need to kind of adapt to is the life changes from 8th grade to freshman. So that's why I try to build them up and try to give them a lot of different things that different crossroads they're going to be getting. And all those crossroads, they all have different life choices they have to make. So if I could help them by bringing some of my past situations that I've had and incorporate it to their lifestyle, I'm hoping that I can make them to prosper as good citizens here in Firebaugh, because at the end of the day, we're all one big family, and if we can't take care of each other, then who else is going to do it?
We tell our kids and students that it's very important to stay motivated in school and life. But we as adults, as coaches, what triggers us? What inspires you and helps you stay motivated, even as professional, as coaches, as an adult?
What keeps me motivated is trying to teach them and trying to let them know there's a process and there's a purpose for what it is that we got going. So like this year, for example, our season hasn't been the greatest, but there's also a reason for that. We got 7 kids with experience and we have 17 kids with non-experience whatsoever, never played football at all. So if I can teach them and I can keep them together, so when they go to the high school level, now they're a bigger team, they're more ready for higher contact, a higher level of football. So my motivation is to keep them here and not have anybody quit. So if nobody quits on me, I did a good job as a coach, because it's, like I said, this year it's a little different, because if I can keep everybody here, even if we're having somewhat per se a losing season, but if I can make sure that nobody quits and everybody stays together, I'm 100% okay with that. Because my job is to make sure that everybody's road is gonna be different. Lose today, learn today, get better for tomorrow. So if we can do that, we're always gonna be upfront on everything, and that's what keeps me motivated. Just knowing that every day and every year and every second and everything that goes into the path of this, it's always gonna end up in the same view. They're all gonna go through the life. They're gonna go through life. So life is the biggest thing that I like to keep the motivation on. So I give them quotes as much as I can. I give them different lectures, everything that has to do with life and what's ahead of them. So that's what keeps me motivated, and that's what's gonna keep me active and in these kids' lives. So down the road, 10, 15 years, if God blesses me with more life, I'll see these kids and their families, and if I see that they're doing something that they're not supposed to, I could always help correct them even at that point, even if there's 28, 27 years old, 29, 30, whatever it be, whatever age it comes up. I feel that I could move them like that.
Our youth, they're in big need of role models, and
Correct.
not only youth but also adults. Who would you like to acknowledge? I know every year is different and there's a whole list, but names that come out that had really helped you get to where you are now, and to reach this level of success as a coach.
Well, first of all, my wife, because she allows me to come out here and do this, because it's taken away from my family's time. So she allows me to come out here and be a pillar to all these kids in the community. That's one. And then my other would be my mom. My mom, a single mom, she went through a lot trying to raise us. I seen her struggle but never quit. So I look at that and I use that for my motivation, because if she didn't quit in life when she had so much chances to quit, why am I gonna quit? I gotta keep pushing forward as well. Strong backbone, So that itself motivates me every day as well, because life is precious, and we have to make sure that we enjoy all of our blessings.
Well, the final question is, do you give me permission to make this interview public?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And let me take the time to say thank you for all the work you do. Definitely we notice, and thank you for providing a positive family for our kids, that especially after the pandemic, a lot of these kids need to be connected and belong to a family. What better than to be part of a positive family and staying out of trouble?
Hey, and I also like to thank, the school board for giving us the opportunity to give us some of the tools that we need to keep moving these kids. Because without them, we wouldn't have access to some of the areas that we have, the facilities, the stadium, the MOT helping us out with keeping the fields nice. So they also have a big part in this. And I feel that with them on our side, we can't lose. We can't lose, because we all work better as a team together. So thank you to everybody else that participates and helps out. So I'm definitely blessed for that.
Those in the shadows, huh?
Those in the shadows, they have to be seen, because at the end of the day, I like to make sure they get their credit, because they also deserve it.
Well, keeping those fields painted and the grass green and everything aligned. Thank you.
Definitely. Thank you to everybody that has a part in it. Really appreciate it. For the Firebaugh Falcon family.
You heard it from Coach Frank. Thank you very much.
And thank you. Have a blessed night.